Hi everyone and welcome to Season 11, Episode 6 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We're in a little bit of trouble just approaching the end of our first season in the Premier League, having brought Truro City up from Tier 7 in English football. It was a little bit of a challenge this season. We're 2 points from safety with 7 matches to play. But other than today's opponents, Leeds United, we've still got to play Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea and Tottenham in those 7 games. So we're up against it. Today, we need those 3 points. Can we get them? Let's find out. Welcome back to Truro City. So, just before we get going, I want to apologise for the lack of content at the back of last week. Unfortunately, I had a bit of a bout of bad health. It was nothing virus related, don't worry about that, but it's just about my disability and how that impacts me. But that's kind of under control as much as I can get it. I feel energised today to get back to content. So here we are back at Truro City. Now, as I said in the intro, we are up against it, unfortunately. If we go in the league table, you'll see that we're sitting in 18th position, 2 points behind Wolves in 17th, who are in the safety position at the moment. We've still got 7 matches to play, but as I said in the intro, still 4 of those really big sides. Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, Tottenham. We've got to play all 4 of those in the remaining fixtures, and they're all in the top 5 of the Premier League. We've also got West Ham, who are sitting in 8th, and today's opponents, Leeds and Blackburn Rovers, in 16th. The Leeds United and the Blackburn Rovers games are going to be absolutely vital for us. So remember, all the way through this season, we've been talking about trying to get as many points as there are games in the Premier League, just to see if we can get to that 38-point mark, which will give us a chance for staying in the division. Now, in theory, we need to take points off some of those big sides that we've still got left to play to do it. We're on 29 points out of 31 matches. So if we won the games against, let's say, Leeds and Blackburn, that would still only put us on 35 points. If we could nick a win against West Ham, that would put us to 38 for the season if we win those 3 matches. But we still probably need 1 or 2 points from those big boys in the division just to secure safety. It's going to be really tricky. Of course, that depends as well on what Wolves do ahead of us and the likes of Blackburn, who are currently 4 points clear of us, and we still play them. So there's some room for movement there. But ultimately, we are up against it. It's been a little bit of a tricky run, so let's go and check that out. So on the schedule page here, you'll see that the last episode that we were together was against Sheffield United in that episode, and we did get a 1-0 defeat, and it absolutely spiralled us compared to where we had been the previous month. January had been pretty good, a few too many draws, but points are points, and we were picking them up, and it just spiralled us a little bit. We went into the FA Cup 4th round tie against Fulham, and unfortunately, the knock against Sheffield United impacted that game. We also lost that game 2-1. And then we played Man City, Arsenal and Leicester, all 3 in a row, and we lost all 3 of those matches. Now, I kind of expected to, and there was some tactical decisions that I made, especially in this Leicester City match, to rest a couple of very key players to get them back for this run of 4 fixtures that we've got: Burnley, Bournemouth, Leeds and West Ham, which I thought was going to be our best chance of getting some points. And so far, you can see that it's worked out. We beat Burnley 1-0, Bournemouth 2-0. We've still got Leeds and West Ham in this little mini run to go before hitting Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United all in a row. So hopefully we can pick up some points here and get ourselves to safety, but it is going to be tricky. The other thing that we can talk about is that look who's shown back up again. In the 10th of March against Burnley, we brought Abu Bakar back into the first team, having been out for 3 or 4 months with a broken leg. And this guy is my number 1 striker in the club. And without him in the Premier League in our first season, it was always going to be really difficult. He was bagging the goals before he left us for his injury. And since he's come back, he's continued bagging the goals. 3 in his last 2 matches. You can see overall 12 goals in 16 appearances. It's an amazing record for the first time in the Premier League. And we desperately, desperately needed him. That's the wrong button, not that button. Let's click back to where we were. And we really desperately needed him. But he is now back. I've got to protect him a little bit. And unfortunately, just when you think things are going to go well for you with him, he's now away on international duty for the Leeds United match. It's not something that I put 2 and 2 together with when I was looking at the fixtures and the schedules coming up. And unfortunately, he's away with Ghana on international duty. So he's going to miss today's match. He'll be back for the West Ham match. And then that run-in shouldn't be a problem for him either. Hopefully, he'll be fit and healthy through that. And he can bag a few surprise goals and cause some of these bigger sides a little bit of an issue. But he's missing today, but back in general. And that's a very good thing. So this run of fixtures that we've got is really, really hard. But today is a very good chance for us. Leeds United came up with us last season, along with Blackburn Rovers. Those 2 we've still got to play. We need these 3 points. Let's see if we can get them. So in terms of personnel for today's match, we've got a couple of issues. Firstly, we've talked about Abu Bakar not being available because he's on international duty. The other one that we've got is Ibrahim, who's been playing on our right side of midfield in this role here. He's ineligible today because he's been loaned in from Leeds United, who are his parent club, so he can't play against them. So unfortunately, those 2 are missing from the starting lineup today. They would have both been playing. But other than that, we're fairly good. We've got a reasonably good group of fit players together. Henderson on the bench has got a little bit of a knock, but we'll just have to see how he gets on. He's been our main replacement for Abu Bakar. Battersby has struggled a little bit, but Battersby gets the chance today because Henderson is a little bit under the weather with his fitness. So ultimately, this is the side that we're going to have to go in with. It's as good as we've got. And we'll see whether we can get the job done against Leeds United. So we've got Mbayu in goal, Fink at right back, Benamor at left back, Baptiste and Nelson in central defence, Gonzalez, Diakite, Morrison in central midfield, Wright Phillips on the right, Dudita on the left and Battersby up top, with a bench of Colombini, Fenn, Kane, Thompson, Sarmiento, Opoku and Henderson. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So in the team talk, I used the outstretched arms gesture, and I've told them to carry on straight from where they left off in the last game. 2 wins on the trot has been really, really positive. Now, one of the reasons for that I didn't tell you about in the build-up was actually we changed our tactical style for these 4 matches. This run of form against the likes of Burnley and today against Leeds, and with West Ham still to come in this mini run, I changed the tactical style. We've gone wide play using our wingers, and we've also gone attacking. Normally, we're on like a counter-attacking sort of defensive style to hopefully sort of keep our shape a little bit and not get beaten too much. That's what I tend to play against the bigger sides in the division. But for today's match in this mini run, I felt the need to go a little bit more positive and attacking to try and implement our style. And so far, in the last couple of games, you've seen it has actually worked, and we have taken the points. We need to do that again today. Been a fairly bright start, but here's Leeds' opportunity with a floating cross to the near post as we look at it, and Bayo collects it very, very nicely and then sets Morrison one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper wins out, unfortunately. Almost a really fantastic goal on the sort of 15-minute mark of the game. Brilliant through ball by Bayo in our goal, and Morrison couldn't quite fight it. But yes, we changed the tactical style. It's worked pretty well for us in the last couple of games. It was just a bit of a risk to do, but ultimately we had nothing to lose from the form against the big boys just before this mini run. And now we're struggling against Leeds United. Unfortunately, 23 minutes in, sweeping ball came in from this near side as we were looking at it. Off this throw-in, you can see that eventually they get the swinging cross in to the far post, and Bayo is caught slightly out of position, it must be said, and he couldn't quite scramble back across the goal enough to cover that post. and they put the header in at the back post and we go 1-0 down. So all of our hard work in the last couple of games coming unstuck a little bit here. We do need these points. It's kind of to the point now where we do need them, unfortunately, because of who we've still got to play. We can still pull off an upset and potentially take some points against a couple of these bigger sides. Of course we can. Anything can happen in the Premier League, but when you come up against a promoted side with you, you've got to try and take these points. And so far, we're playing okay in an about kind of way, but we're not really putting them to the sword enough. 8 shots a goal, 2 on target for them, 49% of the possession. So we've had 5 shots on goal, 4 on target. So conversion ratio on target is pretty good, but they're not quite the quality to put it past the goalkeeper. And we've just shaded the possession stats as well a little bit. So we're doing all right, but we need to do better than all right, unfortunately, in these particular matches. So we're going to have to thrash the arms about. I'm far from pleased, just to get them motivated. And that's what's happened. You can see all the way around the team seemed motivated by it, was the response from the players. We need that type of response. So we're going to go back into the second half, straight into the shouts, fire them up, and keep pushing them forward to see if we can find a way through to goal again and actually put it in the back of the net. But this is the problem. Without Abu Bakar up front for us, we are a little bit toothless. We can create the chances, but you've seen the conversion rate is not brilliant in terms of the chances that we create to then putting it in the back of the net. And Morrison had that brilliant through ball given to him by the goalkeeper that he couldn't quite convert. Leeds United with a corner kick, we get it partially cleared, but they are going to pick it back up again in midfield. We're not winning those 50-50 loose balls, unfortunately. And they put it over the top, but Nelson deals with that. Dudita cuts in and controls the ball nicely. We regain our shape, and then we move forward again. Dudita tries to go over the top for Battersby, but it wasn't a particularly good ball, and the defender cuts it out with absolutely no issue at all and sends Leeds United on their way. For a brief second, they didn't want it, but we gave it straight back. And now they've gone over the top, straight through on goal. If there's no offside, which I don't think there was, they are now 2-0 up. And it's very decisive play, isn't it? When they want to turn it on, eventually scrappy moments from both sides. And then that one ball straight over the top. He runs onto it, runs onto it and puts it past the goalkeeper into that far corner. And they do go 2-0 up. And we are absolutely now properly in the mud. So we're going to have to do something about it. So we pause the game. We come out of the match day experience into the tactical page. And we're going to have to make a couple of changes. We've got an injury to Morrison. So we're going to have to take him out, it looks like. We've also got some really, really poor performances from the likes of Dudita, who's been performing well in that left wing role, and then Battersby, which kind of isn't a surprise to me, unfortunately. So we're going to take these 3 players off. So Morrison comes out, Thompson goes in, Apoku goes in for Dudita, and then Battersby comes out for the slightly slightly not match fit Henderson. Easy for me to say. So those are the 3 changes we're going to make. In terms of what we're going to do to change the style up, it's difficult, isn't it? I think we've been pretty good in the custom wing play, but we're going to abandon that just a little bit. Let's go into the Gegenpress, and we're going to change everything up because we've got to put it all on the line. So we're going to go up into the 4-2-3-1. Just to give us ourselves a better opportunity for the Gegenpress. So we'll move Gonzalez into midfield. They're all pretty much playing the same roles, so that's okay. So we can confirm all of that, just so I know where I'm at. I'm making the right decisions. And the Gegenpress is on. We're in the positive. I'm going to move it up to attacking mentality. And the one thing, out of possession, I just want to make sure where we are with this. Yes, the much higher line of engagement. That's where we're going to go. So we're going to play the Gegenpress, 4-2-3-1. We're going to give it everything we've got for the last 20 minutes of the game and just see what we can achieve here. But it's not looking fantastic, isn't it? Is it really? So back into the game we go. We're going to go into the shouts as soon as we can, and we're going to demand more from them. And we're just going to see where this takes us for the next sort of 10-15 minutes of this match. Just a few shots. You can see in the second half, we've been utterly toothless. Still 5 shots at goal, 4 on target for us. Since half-time, that's been the case. And they're now on 17 shots at goal, and they were on about 8 at half-time. So you can see all the pressure in this second half has come from them. And again, We lose the ball, and it's again Leeds counter-attacking very directly at us, and then eventually their shot goes over the top of the bar on that occasion, and fortunately we don't make it worse for ourselves. But you can see what's been happening. We've been attacking them, and they've been counter-attacking very, very nicely. But somehow we've got to get through them. 2-0 down with about 5 minutes left to go. There's a chance coming here. Wright Phillips into the box, and he squeezes it in at that near post. Goalkeeping error from the Leeds United goalkeeper. And with 5 minutes to go, we do pull a goal back. So it's Henderson that eventually receives the ball there very nicely. Pass it off to Wright Phillips, and there's no real reason for him to have been able to get that goal from that type of angle, but the goalkeeper, Hein, couldn't parry it away from goal, just palms it into his own net. But it looks like we're still running out of time. We've got 3 minutes left for one more chance to rescue a point potentially, and there is another goalkeeping error. He gets the clearance all wrong. Wright Phillips picks it up, drives at the box, and have they given away a penalty in the last dying seconds of the match? I think they might have here. The referee is going over to the monitor to check it out, but I think we've been given an absolute lifeline. They are checking for a penalty review. I think there's a real good chance that we've got this one. Referee comes out, makes the VAR symbol, and gives us a penalty in the 94th minute. This is a pressure kick. We need this point at the minimum to keep ourselves in with a chance of staying up. And who is it that's on the spot at this really key moment? It's Diakite, midfielder, and he blasts it wide. Oh, he blasts it wide. He's one of our absolute star players, Diakite. He's done very well for us this season on loan, but just at the point where we absolutely needed him, he puts it wide and we lose 2-1. Gutting. Absolutely gutting. If we'd have managed to rescue a point just in that dying second, we would have still been on with a shout of pushing the pressure on Wolves above us and just asking some questions. But that loss is a real kick in the teeth. Now, obviously, we need Wolves to have lost their game as well. So we'll go and check that out in a second. But just at this moment... Oh, man, that's so disappointing. We had it in our grasp to rescue a point, and we didn't quite manage to do it. So, just before we figure out what's happening for next episode, there's a couple of things to tell you about. And firstly, Wright Phillips is out for the next couple of weeks. He picked up a knock, unfortunately, pulled thigh, so he's going to be out. But we have got a couple of week break now, 3 weeks break, should I say, between now and the next game, because there's an international break and some cup matches and other things happening that we're not involved in. So it should give us enough opportunity to gather everybody back, keep them fit and healthy, ready for the run-in that we've got coming up. But he's out for the next couple of weeks. The other thing to tell you about, if we go into the league table, and I'm not sure whether you'll see it, it's behind my face, isn't it, unfortunately. But we still sit 2 points behind Wolves. Wolves came up against Chelsea in that particular round of fixtures, and Chelsea comfortably beat them 3-0. So we remain 2 points behind with now 6 matches to go. But of course, in those 6 matches, we do have 4 of the big boys to play. So it's still there for us. If we can get a good result against Blackburn and maybe a good result against West Ham and nick a point against 1 or 2 of those big teams, then maybe it's still on for us. It's all still to fight for. But exactly what we're coming back for next episode, rather than coming back for the Tottenham match, I think we'll come back for the one before it, the penultimate match of the season, and we'll come and play the Blackburn game. And then as soon as we've played that on the episode, I will run through the Tottenham game and update you on it before the end of that episode so we can clear up exactly where we finished. But we'll come back and play that huge mega match against Blackburn Rovers in the next episode, just to see if we can take the points. And I'll update you between now and then what happens in the matches against West Ham, Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester United that are all coming up between now and then. It's a really tricky run-in, isn't it, really? There's no real signs through this season, if we look back on ourselves, that we've picked up any points against the big ones. Manchester United beat us there. Liverpool, Tottenham beat us there. Chelsea beat us, Leicester beat us there, Man City beat us. So yeah, we haven't picked up a single point against any of these big sides all the way through the season. And now, all of a sudden, we need that to change. Abu Bakar coming back into the fold might help us do that. It's still going to be tricky. Anyway, that's going to basically do it today. Really disappointing, that last second reprise that almost got us a point, and then we fluffed our lines a little bit. Unfortunately, led to another loss, but we're still in with a shout. So anyway, that's going to do it for today. Thank you for joining me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode. That'll help me get seen by more people. Until next time, though, for that big crunch encounter against Blackburn Rovers, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.